Today marks a very special moment in Park Spotlight history. Today, we are having a celebration of life for our beloved friend, Stephen Lee Roper, aka Xaphor. Born November 3rd, 1979, our friend Xaphor recently passed away at the young age of 44 on June 27th, 2023. We did not hear of this news until August, and his absence had been worrying us all. The news was devastating for the entire community, as Xaphor was not only our server mod, our Dex R, but also our dearest friend and caretaker for us all. We still do not know how he passed exactly, and it does seem strangely abrupt, as many of us, including myself, were having ordinary conversations with him just the day before he passed away. He seemed in good health, and he was jovial and happy as always, so you could see how this news was shocking to us all. As soon as we heard word of his passing via discovery of his obituary online, we rallied the community together and began construction on Xaphor's Memorial Park. Originally started by RyRy, passed to Beartastic, and finally over to Batch, these three legends took all of Xaphor's blueprints from his workshop to build this here theme park, and the community contributed memorial blueprints to be sprinkled in throughout this entire experience, thus creating Xaphor's first and final theme park that celebrates the one true legend who taught us all the true meaning of what makes a community whole: friendship. Xaphor was a humble man, and he would likely argue against being placed or taking the spot of what is also a monumental milestone here on this channel, as today here marks the achievement of Park Spotlight 600. There is no better person to take this place for this achievement. As mentioned, this is in fact Xaphor's very first Park Spotlight. See, Xaphor once explained to me that he didn't enjoy building parks in Planet Coaster because it became too laggy and tedious. And once he started seeing people share their blueprints on the Steam Workshop and through the Channel 5 spotlights, it was then when he got inspired to go on his legendary tear of the most incredible coaster and ride blueprints this community has ever seen. Xaphor created the best coaster and ride blueprints, and thus might actually hold the record for the most spotlights here on Channel 5 Gaming, with a whopping 31 total spotlights, and concluding his final spotlight here today at 32. Xaphor watched all of the spotlights on this channel, and I'm not entirely sure what the afterlife consists of, but I hope he's watching down on us all for this one last time. Nonetheless, he left a lasting impact on us all, and through his wisdom and teachings, a part of him lives through us all for the rest of our lives. And he shall be immortalized through this here channel, thanks to YouTube and the internet. May your soul rest in peace, my dear friend Xaphor. Just some additional information before we get started with the park tour. I have written something myself for his obituary, which can be found on the community tab section of my channel, as well as a link down below in the description for his official obituary, in case you wanted to read some of the kind words left behind from the wonderful people in this community that Xaphor had an impact on. Xaphor also had a YouTube channel. I will leave a link in the description to that as well. On his channel, I found a playlist. Xaphor was a very proud man and added every spotlight that I featured to his playlist on his own channel. Thus, it gave me the idea to do the same, but make it an official playlist on my own channel, and this time I sorted them by date published. So if you want to re-experience his spotlight journey dating back to 2016, a playlist for that can be found down in the description below. However, most of his creations are here in today's Park Spotlight 600. So why don't we dive right on in and go re-experience the wonderful creations in Xaphor's Memorial Park. Welcome, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the wonderful Kirby Land, Xaphor's Memorial Park. Whew, this is gonna be a tough one for me. As many of you know, me and Xaphor were great friends, online friends, but he has helped me through many, many hard times in my life. He was there for me when my mom passed from cancer. He was there for me every time I struggled with something. He helped guide me, mentor me, and made me a better YouTuber, made me a better community manager, and ultimately, I gave him full permission and full ownership of my Discord and let him take it to the next level. Xaphor truly shaped what our Discord is today, made it really fun for us all. He really embraced everybody's creations. It was because of him that we have a Hall of Fame, that we had celebrations, the best of awards every single year. Xaphor was really proud of you all, and he wanted to immortalize all of you. And therefore, we are paying it forward today with the wonderful Kirby Memorial. And this one was created by the fabulous Fappy. So just a little bit of context, you will see Kirby everywhere. Kirby was his little avatar. Even though we had a drawing of Xaphor and he had his own avatar, Kirby was truly his inner avatar. I don't know the exact quote that he had. I saw somebody pull it up on Discord a few weeks ago. Whoever has that quote can leave it down in the comments below. But somebody was asking him why Kirby? Of all all the heroes and characters, why are you inspired by Kirby? Xaphor kind of made a funny quote about how it's like the most unlikely of superheroes and kind of insane how he just sucks everything up and swallows them. I don't know the exact quote, but I'm just sort of paraphrasing, but Kirby is really just a unique hero, and Xaphor was a unique individual. And therefore, it was a happy pairing. So Kirby represents our beloved Xaphor, and you will see him everywhere. Also, Dex R. We like to name all of our moderators and different members of our community after certain Planet Coaster mascots, and Dex R was the technician. And because Xaphor was our technician on Discord, he was our Dex R. So there's many symbolic characters to represent Xaphor himself, including just, this is a wonderful drawing from Chant. There's Xaphor there. We have an original drawing from Chris Darker Art as well. We have Xaphor, Kirby, and Dexar, and you'll see a lot of that throughout the park as the community members have commemorated all of these characters in here today's park. So yeah, this is a tough one for me. You could probably hear in my voice that I'm struggling still. I'm pretty bad at letting my emotions out, but this one is hard for me to hold back, because Xaphor truly meant a lot to me. So this here is the tumbler, and according to my list here, the best spinning coaster ever, Glacier Valley Twist, was featured 6 years ago, May 30th, 2017. One of his earlier creations in the Planet Coaster history, Glacier Valley Twist. Let's give it a go. And there it is. I think one of my original quotes from 2016, if I remember correctly, was that I said how I loved how this was basically a beautiful song and dance between these two coasters. They're dual synchronized, they're going up ramps like a skate park, and they're spinning together. It's a lovely dance between two spinning coasters. And I think this was the first time I ever saw somebody dual synchronize spinning coasters like this, and it was revolutionary for its time. Really, really amazing. So, Oh, wow. We have the Magical Emporium. I did a spotlight on this, but it was more like a presentation. And it was actually the spotlight that followed right after Glacial Valley Twist. Xaphor's Magical Emporium gift shop. This was featured July 18th, 2017. I believe this one is a bit of a show, a nighttime show, if I remember correctly. I'm not entirely sure. It's a relic gift shop. There's a potion bar. I could have sworn there was a sequencer in this somewhere. Or maybe it's on loop. Amazing Alistair and his dazzling boxes of illusions. Yeah, it might just be on loop here. If I speed it up, there should be a fireworks show. It says here on the Steam Workshop, the display sequencer can be found just inside the stage on the rafter beam above the doors. And I'm assuming this is the stage, the rafter beam above the doors. Ah, but there's two of them. How dare you, Xaphor? The magic fountain, the box of illusions. Why don't we do them all at the same time? I can't seem to get the fireworks show to go off. Maybe it comes or starts after this. Maybe by pushing both the buttons, I screwed something up. I'm assuming it's going to play after the original show, but I could be wrong about that. But it also says that it can try playing the box of illusion. Now that's this. I can't for the life of me seem to get the fireworks show to play, but I will have a video to it down in the description below, and you can give that a watch there. I wanted to talk briefly about some of the impacts that Xaphor had on me while watching the fireworks show, but I guess I can't seem to get it to work. Here's another beautiful creation by Xaphor, Daring Dan's Dirigibles. Oh my goodness. I don't, is this a flat ride? I don't remember the reason that they made this, and I don't know if I spotlighted this one. Let me see. Oh, the balloon comes out. This might have been around the time that we did our ride skin contest, or it might have been actually made for the ride skin contest. But I don't know if there's one on the channel for this. Or it might have been a part of something else, like a series that we did. Oh, no, I do remember seeing this. Gosh. It's giving me, some flashbacks. 2 balloon rides, 10-minute queue. I remember commenting on this that, like, nobody's actually made a balloon ride before. And that, I thought this was very clever. Because the guests don't normally go on the balloons, but they can actually go on this balloon ride. But the idea of, like, selling a hot air balloon ride in a theme park was a great idea. And the Xaphor captured it just beautifully here. Absolutely amazing. Okay, let's head on up, explore the park a little bit. Let's go back to daytime. And I gotta say, Beartastic, RyRy, and Batch, you guys did an amazing job. Batch is really good, as you guys have seen from Project PlanCo, taking other people's blueprints and kind of like intertwining them into other creations. So Batch was a perfect person to kind of sprinkle in the community blueprints in between all of Xaphor's creations, kind of bringing it all together. And the park itself is actually just phenomenal. And because it contains all of Xaphor's rides and attractions, it's going to be a jam-packed episode full of amazing rides. because Xaphor did it the best. He was the best at making blueprints, and blueprints can be placed in your parks. Professor Worst Owlery Tavern. That is adorable. A Professor Worst owl. Oh, wow. Look how beautiful this is. I feel like this should be at nighttime, too. We're going to have to switch back and forth because Xaphor was extremely good at nighttime lighting, as you can see from the last 2 creations as well as this. All the little details in here. Owl cages. I mean, this is amazing. Toilet. Yeah, Xaphor not only loved doing coaster blueprints, ride blueprints, but just insane creations like what we're seeing here. Just actual shops and ride skins. Xaphor participated in a lot of like the ride skin contests, shops as well. He loved doing it all. Oh boy, the Princess Amelie. So this actually has a fun little backstory that I recently actually discussed with Xaphor. Princess Amelie and the Ice Queen. So back in the day, we had a PlanCo coaster contest, which you had to make a coaster inspired by one of the mascots or shops in Planet Coaster. And Xaphor kind of went with Princess Amelie because he wanted to give her a little bit of lore and story, and it didn't exactly pertain to a shop or whatever. And that's kind of what he liked about Project PlanCo, the park that we're working on currently, is that we're kind of like elaborating on what is a currently existing character. And he mentioned to me when we were having this discussion that was his whole concept with Princess Amelie and the Ice Queen. He didn't necessarily, he wanted to he didn't want to do like some corny, cheesy, like this is the soda shop kind of thing. So he wanted to put a lot of flair, but still sprinkle in the ice cream, and therefore he came up with Princess Amelie's Ice Queem. But it has this little bit of a Pixar Frozen aesthetic to it all, where Princess Amelie is also the Ice Queen, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, the reason he liked Project PlanCo so much is because it just kind of takes the personalities of these characters and redefines them. Takes them to the next level, and I think this is a kind of like a fitting example of that. So therefore, Princess Amelie and the Ice Queen would be a very good fitting creation for Plankification in terms of Project PlanCo. And it is a water cascade coaster, Princess Amelie the Ice Queen. There's a look at all the stats if you'd like to see them, and let's give it a go. Good googly moogly. Still even more amazing today than it was back in July 22nd, 2018. Coaster Spotlight 501, part of a contest entry for our shop contest. There it is. Wow. So here we have another community creation by Enigmandra, Xaphor's Cafe. So one thing I wanted to kind of talk about with how Xaphor had such a profound impact on my life, one of many ways, but one of the most recent ways is I was kind of stuck in a rock and a hard place. I had moved from my place to a rental suite, and I wasn't very happy, and I was a little bit depressed last year, and Xaphor and I played a lot of Lost Ark together. We got addicted to that game for like 8 months of 2022, and it became a little bit of a problem and addiction for both of us. But like, we literally played that game like, I want to say almost like 8 hours a day, 7 days a week for like 8 months straight. It was a lot. We probably both put like 2,000 hours into that game in the course of like 8 months. And Xaphor finally said, I gotta pull the plug here. And the moment he did that, I also did too. He was literally the only thing keeping me playing that game. Not to fret, the frames died before Silverhead. Rip Nerd Chacho, we begged not another oil lamp, but he refused. Is this a Xaphor creation? I don't know what this is. Is this something that Xaphor made? I'm not going to be able to get up. Mystic Manor. Let me look at the list here. I recognize the name Mystic Manor, but from the looks of things, it's not in the spotlight list of all the creations that I featured of Xaphor. This might be one of the few Xaphor creations I actually didn't see. But I'm gonna have to get my thoughts out in between all these rides. Xaphor discussion and memories. Mystic Manor. It is a little kiddie ride, dark ride. Can I get one that's leaving the station, please? I feel like I want to say that this was created for like some sort of Halloween event that we did. I know we did a Halloween like blueprint spotlight series, and back then it wasn't. We might have featured multiples in the same episode. I don't really remember entirely, but you know, my memory is sharp with certain things, but really lacks in other areas as well. You know, this is 7 years of Xaphor creations. I'm not going to remember everything, but certainly some of this stuff has had a profound impact on my memory for sure. Getting back to what I was originally just talking about with Lost Ark last year, well, we both got lost in the Ark. It was actually, you know, like, I don't regret it, and especially now that he's gone, because we probably spent like 2,000 hours of our lives talking to each other in 2022. We played so much of that game. We hung out. We talked about so many different things. And that's when I really got to know Xaphor the most, even though I knew him for what was like 6 years up until that point. When you spend that much time together playing a game, you obviously talk about other things. This here was the Star Wars creation. I want to say that this was one of the more recent-ish ones. PlanCo Wars Frontier's Edge, Ride Spotlight 101. It was inspired by the upcoming Rise of the Resistance dark ride at Disney's Galactic Edge Star Wars themed lands. That's why he built this one here. And this was done in, okay, not as recent as I thought. Man, time flies. It's kind of depressing. But this was made in 2019. Gosh, was that really already 4 years ago? Oh my goodness. But, yeah, I'll look at it at daytime as we leave. But here's like it says a Millennium Falcon inspired kind of PlanCo ship. The idea with this was to make a ride that was inspired by what the ride I just mentioned, the Rise of the Resistance, and for Disney, but do it with a PlanCo twist. So it's called PlanCo Wars Frontier's Edge, Frontier being the company that makes the game. A lot of clever tie-ins and puns. Xaphor is very clever that way. And, yeah, this was a phenomenal spotlight. That one alone, 4 years ago, got 12,000 views. I think it's a dueling ride of sorts, or maybe a shooting ride? I'm not entirely sure. Wow, frickin' we. What a legend. Even for 2018, it just goes to show how innovative Xaphor was with his triggered effects and all of that. I believe that the second ride is actually quite different from the first, if I remember correctly, or maybe not. There might be a few different scenes. Let me see. They generally just kind of have a dance, but then there's like a couple different scenes. Well, I'll see if I can get this one. Let me pause it. Yeah, this the amount of animatronic work in this is just next level, legendary. At this point, or this is 2019. At this point, Planet Coaster was only a few years old, and Xaphor was constantly innovating. Like as we saw with the spinning ride, the dueling spinning ride, Xaphor was always trying to find a way to make things stand out and be unique. And here we have like just a full visual presentation of basically every sci-fi animatronic in Planet Coaster, used with the dual synchronized remotion track rides. And it's just so impressive the amount of trigger work involved into a singular blueprint. And even more impressive was Xaphor's ability to do all of this with just 4,000 pieces, 4K blueprints. And even early on, Xaphor, before we had the 4K limit, Xaphor was creating things with the 2K limit. And I'm still blown away by the amount of detail, scenes, and pieces that he managed to do all of this under 4,000. And that goes to that's the same case for pretty much every ride you'll see in this park, as what he liked to focus on was blueprints. And I think there'll be one that we see later on that has like 10 kilometers of coaster track in a single 4K blueprint, which is just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I want to turn this. They are very similar, aren't they? They're just different perspectives. It's still a cool concept nonetheless, being able to kind of have a dance between two dark rides. Have them timed out the way that they did. There's a really crazy throughput on this as well. This'll just eat the guests. I think we have 1,500 guests in the park, and seems like most of them are on this ride. Pretty crazy. This is making me dizzy, though. Now, when I did feature this back in the day, I didn't use a reshade, but because this park is so heavy, the frame rate's probably the same as it was 4 years ago. There's just too many things in this park. But we do have the enhanced reshade now, which is pretty cool. But it is definitely refreshing to... I've been kind of on a bit of like a revisit tour, if you will. Going back and revisiting older creations. And being able to revisit all of Xaphor's creations all in one glorious park is also quite amazing. Definitely had Xaphor down for a bunch of re-features, but no better way to do it than all at once. So again, thank you to RyRy, Batch, Beartastic for putting this all together for us so that we can relive the moment all at once. I'm gonna teleport out because I have no idea how to get back out. And let's take a look at this at daytime. Amazing composition. Can you believe that that is all done under 4,000 part limit? What a legend. Wow, frickin' we. So yeah, getting back to what I was saying earlier is that while me and Xaphor got lost in the Lost Ark last year, it also brought us really close together. We spent a lot of time talking about just life and things, and I wouldn't change a thing for the world. Oh, you want me to go here at night? Or come out of here at night? Because we're stuck at night everywhere we go. Yeah, and while I wasted a lot of time last year and I was a little bit depressed, Xaphor was what made all of that kind of special and memorable. I really had a lot of joyous moments wasting time, which now I look at is it wasn't a waste of time, it was quality time with a friend that I had no idea would be soon gone. And now I look back at it and go, wow, at least I got to spend all that time with Xaphor last year and get to really know him. And through that process, he was talking to me about life changing, you know, changing my life. And he suggested to me, he suggested to me that I go and move to Kelowna, which I did. I am here now. Part of the thing that breaks my heart so much, and I was packing on the day that I last spoke to him, and I was in the middle of the move, and by the time I landed, I just soon after found out the news about him. So I was anticipating sharing him all of the amazing, life-changing results of moving to Kelowna, and that's what he kind of wished for me. He suggested that I should come here and, you know, this will be good for my life and my mentality, and he wasn't wrong. So Xaphor got to leave me with some parting wisdom. Tannin Temple of Chaos. Let me pull this up real quick while I finish my thought. I'll talk about the Tannin and Temple of Chaos real quickly. This was Coaster Spotlight 372 back 5 years ago on April 15th, 2018. Is this another dueling coaster? Xaphor and his dueling coasters. But yeah, Xaphor got to leave me with some parting wisdom and told me to go change my life, and that he believed it was the best thing for me. And so far, he's been right. I've only been here for 2 months now, and my quality of life has improved greatly. My mentality has been great. I just wish I could have shared that with him. But he's in my heart, he's in my spirit, and I'm going to do the best to uphold his wisdom and his suggestion of telling me to, you know, spread my wings and go try something new with my life. And I'm gonna continue to do my best to prove him right. So here we are. We are at the Tannin Temple of Chaos, 1,300 meters in track length, a winged launch coaster. Let's get on this. Off we go. Wow, this is so nostalgic. So the other ride is actually a boat ride from the looks of things. We'll probably do this one at night maybe because we just did one at day. So nostalgic because it's even better the second time with reshade and revisiting these, but it's also very strange for me to rewatch these because I know I featured this in 2018. I was very new, I was a baby, I didn't know what I was doing. And my style of doing spotlights was so much different. And as I'm riding this, it gives me a flashback, almost like a time travel experience. Yeah, this is like a time travel experience for me because I'm getting flashbacks of what I was thinking of, the good googly mooglies of the past, the awe and the inspiration of going on a Xaphor spotlight. I get like little hits of what I was thinking, because I get reminded of all the... You see it all again. You see it all again, and it's like, brings back memories. And it's, very nostalgic, I guess. I've always been one to say that nostalgia makes me sad, because it reminds you of a time and a place where your mind frame and memories were different, where your life was different. But in this moment, it feels very happy. Because Xaphor and his creations in particular, they were always so much fun. And the nostalgia that I'm getting is just a reminder of the fun times I had featuring him. And that is, it's memories of nothing but good times. It's amazing. But he did it all, didn't he? This, it was never enough to just do something ordinary. Always something extraordinary. And in the case of the Temple of Chaos here, an eye candy, absolute eye candy, winged launch coaster, as you guys saw from the POV of that coaster. It was phenomenal. And now what we have here is a river rapids with just the same amount of eye candy, but look how many triggered events we have. Just an outstanding amount of detail, animatronics, and triggered events to make this lazy river something extraordinary. And again, I will sound like a broken record by the end of this, because he's always doing it with 4,000 pieces. It's like, you couldn't have just made a winged launch coaster. No, I gotta make the most detailed winged launch coaster with the most detailed river rapids, combine the two together, and make one of the most glorious adventure temples of all time. And that's how he did it. That's how he did it. Kirby, just launching it. Kirby pulls all the pieces in. I think he spits them out too, right? He sucks everything in. Xaphor is the reverse of Kirby, if anything, because the amount that he packed into one blueprint is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Look at this. This is like the never-ending river rapids. Oh, and there's a shot of the coaster going by there. Oh my good googly moogly. Wow, frickin' we. The lighting's really crazy too. I always remember commenting on Xaphor's lighting being something extraordinary, but I don't know, seeing it all these years later with reshade, I mean, it holds up, if not is better than most of the stuff that I'm featuring recently. It holds up. His creations are timeless. They aged well, if you will. Amazing. Whew! It's gonna be a long one here today, revisiting all of these blueprints. Setting records. Oh wow, I love what you did with the centerpiece with all the neon panels, Bear and Batch. I believe Bear had something to do with that. The giant Kirby Ferris wheel in the middle. There's a ton of little blueprints we have to look at this one now. Now this one's the Journey to the Planet Core. I actually have this one here. Let's see. A coaster adventure deep into the core of the planet. I think it was inspired by, what was that, 1,000 Leagues Under the Sea or something? It was about the time that I featured something similar. This one was November 12th, 2017. Coaster Spotlight 299. Wow. I believe this one was melting my computer with just the blueprint. It might actually run better, even though it's in this insane park. Oh yeah, this crazy contraption. I remember gawking over that. Maybe we go in on nighttime for this one. A lot of nighttime creations here. Priority queue? Where's this priority queue? Shout out to Batch and Beartastic for setting these all up. I know from experience, Xaphor always made these intricate and crazy queues. As you would have saw from some of the ones that we just finished featuring, almost 2 kilometers in length. And again, all done in a blueprint. And oh, there's a teaser for you right there. And yeah, setting up these queues was never easy on a Xaphor creation. Let's go. Boom. Holy good googly moogly. Holy crap. These creations really stood the test of time. I'm watching them back now. I'm like, wow, this is something I want to feature. I feel like I didn't deserve to feature this back in 2017. I should be featuring this as a 2023 creation. That's how impressive Xaphor's creations truly are. But we are, in fact, featuring them here in 2023 in today's Park Spotlight. So, you know, let me know down below if you remember some of these creations or if you're brand new to the community. Because this is actually quite a beautiful treat for a lot of new members, because Xaphor's creations truly date back all the way to 2016. With his very first, I think it was Ride Spotlight number 4. One of my very first creators to ever feature was Xaphor. If you're newer to the community, then you would not have seen all of them. And to be able to see them now in, you know, 4K and all that, it's amazing. And truly, go downstairs at night by Batch. Batch made something downstairs. I'm at an hour on my recording. There's probably some me crying I have to cut out. But I'm gonna stop it and start a new one just in case nothing goes wrong or something goes wrong. Okay, I have checked the recording. The first of what will be a very long Park Spotlight. I checked the recording and seems like everything's in order. Good. We are going into the depths down below. Of course, Batch would do something insane like this. But my previous thought was, if you haven't seen Xaphor creations, this is going to be quite a treat, because I think everything that Xaphor has ever produced was a 10 out of 10 S tier in terms of coaster quality. So you know, you're in for a treat. Audio and video can be slightly out of sync. I think the Batch said to me that I can't see anything. And when I turn, the flashlight doesn't work over here. What's happening? Why doesn't the flashlight work over here? What is this? I guess I just follow the line? I think Batch provided me a video in the case that something doesn't work here. He told me not to look into anything on this park and not to spoil anything. So I don't know what this is or what to expect. I'm probably gonna turn reshade off for this one too, just in case. Play me. What are we doing?
And I also recognize the name Xaphor. I feel like we've looked at something. Oh
my god.
So Xaphor is finally one of our Discord members.
Oh my god.
And, he does some absolutely amazing work.
What?
Oh, love the blue. That looks so good.
This is making me cry. It's also really cringe to listen to me.
Holy moly.
Holy moly. I sound so much different back then.
Impeccable.
Impeccable.
Oh, good job, Xaphor. Absolutely amazing. Look at that.
Oh my god.
Xaphor, one of our Discord legends and our Tiki Cheeky moderator. Xaphor helps us with a lot of stuff on the show. He helps put together those graphs that you see for the voting forms and the contest results. He does a lot of back-end stuff. He's been filling in for Floss while she's been off doing her things and been busy. So thank you. You've been a great addition to the team, Xaphor. Really appreciate your help.
Oh my god. I can't even read it. Oh.
Xaphor, the most incredible man to walk into my life. What started from a simple Right Spotlight submission for a YouTube video 7 years ago unfolded into one of the best friendships a person could ever ask for. The Channel 5 gaming community grew quickly and too large for me to handle, and Xaphor
I wrote this, by the way. Thank you for reading it for me, Badge.
He became our server mod and community caretaker. He became our community grandfather, and it's because of him we were able to immortalize so many people into the community Hall of Fame forever. He took care of the server, organized our community events and contests, and most importantly, took care of us people. What most people don't know is that he also took care of me. He helped me together not long after losing my mother to cancer. He picked me up when I was down. He offered me solutions when I felt trapped. And most importantly, he spent his own time with me creating quality moments in the 7-year friendship. Just weeks before he passed away, we were speaking about friendships. I'm glad I was able to tell him how much he really meant to me, not knowing he would soon pass. I told him that I don't know what I would do without him. He chuckled in his stoic way and said to me, "You will manage just fine without me." Then proceeded to tell me that I started this community without him, and he was happy to have just been involved, as it gave him great joy in his life. It's rare that you get to have such deep friendships like this, and rare speak of how meaningful they are right before the person passes. It's rare that you get to have such deep friendships like this, and rare speak of how meaningful they are right before the person passes. It just breaks my heart knowing I'll never see his little avatar pop up in my DMs on a weekly basis, and I wish I could just hear him say, "Howdy, one last time. I love you, Xaphor. You changed my life and enabled me to change the lives of thousands of people in this community we built together. And I can speak for everyone when I say that you will forever be in our memories and hearts. You, sir, are the one true Hall of Fame legend to us all. Love you forever, Johnny Firelight."
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Howdy.
Oh, that's what he just read, by the way. So if you want to pause it and read that. And these are the words of all the community members. If you want to pause them and give them a read. That was a really beautiful batch. I didn't read what I wrote for his obituary. I was originally going to read what I wrote for his obituary at the start of the video, but I knew I wouldn't be able to get through it. And batch... Whoa. What did I just do? What's happening? I'm picking something up. Oh, oof, thank you. Oh. So everything that's scrolling right now... Oh no, I'm doing it again. Why is this happening? It's also written on the walls. Yeah, I was gonna read the obituary that I wrote about Xaphor, which you could pause it or rewind it and see it there. It's also posted on my community tab section as well as on his obituary site. I knew I wasn't gonna be able to read it without breaking up, so Batch did that there. It was a little bit hard to hear, but he wrote it out there. That was really nice of you to do that, Batch. To put that all together. Really hurt. Howdy. Gosh. It's really hard to, I was watching the 2022 awards for Xaphor, and we nominated him as the most helpful community member of the year. And hearing him talk about that, he didn't even want the award. He wanted to give it to Fua, and he's such a humble guy. It's really hard to hear him, because I miss him so much. He really, he really was a legend. Is a legend. I probably should have saved this for last. But, I just wandered down here. I read many of these. Many good words from many amazing community members. Kiara, I saw some words there about Lost Ark. Yeah, Kiara played Lost Ark with us. Oh, rest in peace, Xaphor. Oh, boy. Beautiful, beautiful job on that batch. These are all of the things that just rolled in the credits there. Amazing words. All of these can be found on the obituary on Xaphor's obituary site. Links for that are down in the description below. And if you want to say anything, you can go to the site and leave some words for yourself if you didn't get a chance to, as well as the community tab on the channel. Wow. That really hit me hard. Damn. Very nice of Batch to put that together. And here are some, this one's by Mellow. Some amazing creations to commemorate Xaphor right here. Striker. I thought I was going to be able to hold it together. Mr. Vanderpants, Kirby playing with his coasters. The Banhammer. Who did the Banhammer? Daisy Doggin. Last week, I had a video showcasing Xaphor's final creation, which was High Noon in Project PlanCo. Xaphor's final ever coaster that he got to build was for Project PlanCo, which is what I've said to be my final park. I did Yetiland, Candyland, and now Project PlanCo. 3 mega parks in the history of me doing Planet Coaster. Of course, with everything I do is community related. So I've never really built a park all by myself, simply because I don't have the time to do that, because content creation and managing, you know, everything that I do is a full-time job alone. And you can see by the parks that we feature on this show, people spend thousands of hours a year on these creations. And at best, I have maybe 10-20 hours a week that I could dedicate to something like that. And I do that for Project PlanCo. And so I would never be able to fully complete a park on my own without the help of the community. So Project PlanCo was sort of my way to hang my hat off on the community, or not, you know, on Planet Coaster in terms of creations. Some people mistake that, said, are you done with Planet Coaster after this? No, that's not the case. I'm just not planning. We'll see. Like I said that about Candyland, I might not do another park after Candyland, but I felt like I changed my mind. So, Augie Box Kirby. I changed my mind and I wanted to do Project PlanCo mainly because I was inspired by what the Bitter Elegance was doing, both through their voice-acted parks, Kirby Tacos, by Taco King, and because of their music brought me so much joy. And Xaphor, literally I ran the idea by him from the very beginning. And he kind of guided me, mentored me, and helped me along with Project PlanCo. One day, he just messaged me in the morning, and he's like, hey, can I make a coaster for Project PlanCo? I said, yeah, absolutely. I just passed him the park. I would never say no to Xaphor, and it excited me to know that he wanted to just build something for Project PlanCo. So he made High Noon. Unknowingly, that would be his last ever coaster. But it's a bittersweet thing, because it's his last coaster, but sweet because it's in my last park, and it's the last thing I'm going to be building in Planet Coaster, and it's the last thing that he built in Planet Coaster. Maybe I change my mind down the road, but as of right now, I wanted to do something big for the 7-year anniversary, because I was sort of hoping that Frontier would finally give us a Planet Coaster 2 next year, and I was also hoping that Park Beyond would take off and be very, very good. It didn't turn out that way, but I'm going to give it another chance with the sharing and the improvements that they've been making on the game. And I was hoping I could shift some of my efforts and focus over to Park Beyond, and it would pull me away from building in Planet Coaster. Or if we get a Planet Coaster 2, I would start building in that. And that's where I truly thought this would be my final project in Planet Coaster, simply because a Planet Coaster 2 and a Park Beyond would therefore replace that. But it seems to me like Planet Coaster is irreplaceable, and it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. With 4K reshade and all the new changes I've made on the channel recently, it's here to stay. Hold on, I need some tissues. So bringing it all back around, last week on a Project PlanCo video, I featured Xaphor's very last coaster. I cried a little bit during that one too, and I felt a little bit embarrassed. But at the same time, you need to let it out, and just, you know, we're all human here at the end of the day. Sometimes it's good to get your emotions out. And I do say, between making that video, which I probably made that video 2 weeks ago, to now, I felt a little bit like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. And I'm very much a person that bottles up my emotions, and I never really let it out. I had a hard time with that when I lost my mom, and Xaphor was part of that process and helping me heal and, you know, talking me through things. He was always there for me, and that's why it's so hard now that I don't have him, because I don't have an outlet, somebody to vent to and talk to about things, and the way that I did with him. And he was very, very good at helping guide me through emotions and helping me guide me through ideas, creativity, contests, pretty much anything and everything. He always had words of wisdom. He was the best. So even though I thought I was kind of healing a little bit, doing today's park is making me realize I don't think I will ever heal. And there is no replacement for a best friend. It does help to get it out. So if you guys are going through something, find someone that you can talk to, find a way to get it out. And and hopefully that'll help. So here we go. We have Tempest and Maelstrom. I believe this again is a dueling coaster. Looking at it on the playlist list here, this one was featured July 22nd, 2017. Wow, so many years ago. My camera's freaking out today. I don't know what's happening. My apologies. Get it together. There's a look at the ride stats if you want to see them, and let's go ride the Tempest. Okay, so Maelstrom is the river rapids. One thing I wanted to say after riding that coaster at both day and night, actually, should I be riding this at night, or, I mean, his lighting's so good, I don't think it matters either way. Looking back at these videos in the playlist, they're all kind of like on an alpine or tropical map or whatever. I usually set them up and did the pathing and the queue work and the exits and put paths all around the outside. But traditionally, all of the Xaphor spotlights I have ever featured over the years have all been on empty blank maps because they are blueprints. And this is the first time ever that we get to ride these coasters and actually have like background noise. We see other stuff in the park. We see different rides, different points of interest. And it didn't really hit me until riding the Tempest coaster there that, like, wow, this is such a different experience to that, an enhanced, a 2.0, an improved experience to that of which I got to experience so many years ago with Xaphor creations. Having that atmosphere, the background, it really makes a difference. And it's strange that, you know, Xaphor never made a park, not even a mini park. He never participated in the mini park contest or anything like that. He really dedicated himself to doing just like one solid creation at a time. And part of that, I've talked to him about this in the past, it's one of the reasons that, well, like what I created in Planet Coaster, I have like 19 pages or something on my workshop. I don't know. I have a lot of creations, most of which I did in 2016, 2017, and then a few in between here and there along the way. But part of my my stick was instant gratification. I have a hard time dragging things out. I need that day-to-day gratification. And that's kind of what like led me to Spotlights even, is I get to explore these parks and experience everything all in one bite-sized chunk and have that gratifying feeling of experiencing it all and then sharing that with you guys. I'm much better at being a host than I am creating an experience. And that's why I did so many shops and small builds, because I could build them in a day or two or a weekend, a week at most, create those screenshots, share it on the community page, and then see, like, you know, the downloads and the likes and the subscribes, and I could see all those numbers coming in almost instantaneously. And for me, it was very, very gratifying to just commit to one singular project at a time and, you know, close it off. Xaphor was very much the same. He liked to, like, really focus in on one thing, get it out there, get his spotlight from me, and then see what everybody thinks about it. And therefore, making parks was too much of an endeavor. So there is something beautiful about today's video, because everything in this park, other than, you know, the community stuff sprinkled in between, which is very much just Xaphor related, so it truly is Xaphor handcrafted. So the whole park from start to finish is truly a Xaphor park. And we've never, ever, ever experienced that. I think it's just beautiful. It's just being able to look out the Dwarven Mine Forge and see, what was this? I want to guess it's called Eternal or something. What was this one called? Let me see if I can find it here. Was it Thunderbird? No, I thought it was like Eternal Sanctuary or something. Eternal Dawn. Oh no, that's not Eternal Dawn. Oh, I'll figure it out when I get there. But yeah, being able to look out of the Dwarven Mine Forge and see one of Xaphor's creations, see multiple of Xaphor's creations, it really brings it all together in this cohesive and beautiful way. This here, there's a backstory to it. We'll talk about it in a second. This one's taking off. Okay, I was digging up while we're riding that second coaster. I was digging through the playlist, and I was like, why is this not in the playlist? Apparently, so I said there was 31 spotlights ever from Xaphor. There might be more. We might have to dig up a few more, but this actually wasn't in the playlist at all. Xaphor forgot to add it to his original playlist, so therefore I forgot to add it to mine. And I was like, I know I featured this, because there's a backstory that I wanted to share with you guys. But this was actually featured as Coaster Spotlight 800, a big milestone. I remember Xaphor was being very humble about not wanting to be episode 800, that someone else deserved the spot more than him, and this and this and that. But around that time, this was June 6, 2020, it was around the time shortly after, what's going on here? Shortly after we did the dueling coaster contest, if I remember correctly. And Xaphor was originally going to compete in said dueling coaster contest with what you see here. Again, this is 4,000 pieces, but there's a 1.2 kilometer track with the first one and 1.2 for the other one. So 2.5 kilometers of coaster track packed into a 4,000 piece blueprint. All these rocks hand placed, hand built, all of this terrain made in a singular blueprint, which is phenomenal. So I think he was building this and it was inspired to do this around the time that we were doing the dueling coaster contest, which he never submitted as a competitor. Who did this one? Chris Yep. Okay, so we featured this just a week or two ago. I featured Chris Yep's park. What was the park? Something Peak Pines. I'm drawing a blank. South Peak Pines. I remembered part of it. And I saw this and I was talking about Xaphor in that video. So Chris Yep in fact did make this, which is awesome. Chant drew this originally, and it's for one of the t-shirts that we did way back in the day. She was bonking Xaphor on the head, but Xaphor has been replaced with Dexar, which is basically Xaphor. Beautiful to see that. Love it. But yeah, Dwarven Mine Rally was made initially was going to be part of the dueling coaster contest. That was going to be Xaphor's submission, and it never got featured, but he sent it in anyways. And that's why I decided to make that episode 800, because that was to close out sort of like a lineage of coasters, because from 700 to 800 there were a lot of dueling coasters in that sort of milestone of coaster spotlights, right? That era, if you will, was a lot of coaster spotlights during that time. Who made this giant robot? Starship Rad. My god, it's a giant Xaphor robot. That is phenomenal. And again, seeing like this coaster here surrounded with like blueprints and park, it's so great to see. Like, this park is phenomenal. I can't believe that you guys put this together in like a month. You know, sure, the blueprints and the rides were provided for you by the community, but still, it's so impressive that this feels like an incredible spotlight, like an incredible park. It's the layout, the flow, everything about this is just impeccable, and you guys meticulously threw this together in just only a month. Super impressive. This is insane. So these are in fact all of the spotlights. Wait, this is a dueling coaster, isn't it? Why Valley of the Dragons? Is this not in the playlist either? This is what I said we're going to discover. We're going to discover more creations that Xaphor made that didn't quite make it to the playlist. I have to check this. Kinyu versus Orok. It's not showing up. Valley of the Dragons. Oh no, it is in the playlist. Okay, good. That was one of the last ones featured. Coaster Spotlight 665. So now I'm kind of curious, because this is, welcome to Coaster Spotlight Bundle. This is when I came back and did bundles. And I guess the duelingness of it had nothing to do with a contest at all. It was just part of a Coaster Spotlight bundle. But I'm like, what is this one? This isn't in the playlist. So we're missing some Xaphor creations. I'm gonna have to work this out with Discord and see if they can help me find any missing spotlights and add them to the playlist. Because at the top of this video, I mentioned he was featured 31 times, this being his 32nd spotlight. But there's in fact more, at least a couple more. I think we got majority of them though. I'm recognizing all of these from the spotlight, or the playlist. And yeah, this is also what Xaphor did for us every year, was immortalizing. This was one of the awards that he got, the Immortal. He got Best Coaster of the Year, I believe it was, and one of the best shops of the year. So during the PlanCo Awards, he won some of them. One of them being one of the most helpful, outstanding creators or just helpful community members. Yeah, this is it here. It doesn't say the award here. I was just watching this, but I don't know what I'm going to do for next year because at some point, I want to say it was like 3 years ago, Xaphor started doing the Planet Coaster yearly awards ceremony, and he would join me and talk about all the creators and the awards, and it was like this nice like PowerPoint presentation that he would do. He did the Hall of Fame. Every contest when we had winners, he would induct them into the Hall of Fame. First, second, third, give everybody medals. So if you and he did this all the way back to the all the way to the origins of time. So he has like this race thing that he did, and I don't even know if I have access to some of the documents for this stuff because it might have been on Xaphor's Google Drive, but I'm gonna have to look through and see what I have available. But he has points and points for every single contest winner. We have like a leaderboard showcasing like who has the most points from the beginning of time. I believe currently Chant is the reigning defending champion of the most points and contests ever won in the history of Planet Coaster. You know, she competed in most of the contests throughout this channel's history and won most of them. But yeah, Xaphor did an amazing job with all of that. So this here is a very memorable creation. I should be talking about this, but I have so many things I want to talk about. I could talk about Xaphor all day. To finish up my thought before we walk this one is that I don't know what I'm going to do because tracking the Hall of Famers, any future contests we do, how are we going to do that in the Discord side? There's a lot of things that Xaphor did on Discord that I don't even know how to do. It was over my head, and that's why I gave him like ownership of the server. I'm still technically the server owner, but he was like, I gave him all, he had everything. He could do everything except for delete the server. So all of the things that he did, I don't know how to do them. So I'm gonna have to talk to the mods and see if we have someone that's technical on that sort of thing. If anyone wants to continue inducting people into the Hall of Fame with future contests, we're gonna need help figuring that out. And if there's anybody that knows like PowerPoint and how to do these like amazing presentations and wants to resume doing the PlanCo Awards for 2023, we're gonna need to know who can do that and who wants to do that. Oh, Chant made this. This was for Shedmire, but it works very good for this park as well. So yeah, like, we'll have to figure that out, and it's a little bit scary to me, and it's one of the reasons that I haven't done another contest, because Xaphor had an integral part in all of the contests. It's going to be very hard for me to host a contest without him. So discussion for another day, I suppose. A bridge will cross when we get there, but just letting you guys know, don't bug me about contests for a while yet, because it'll just kind of like strike a nerve with me and make me a little bit sad, because I kind of need his help for that, and I'm not ready to do it without him at this moment. So talking about this ride here, very, very important one, because this is Lockjaw's Secret Discovery Ride Spotlight number 4, created December 23rd, 2016. Only just under a month after Planet Coaster came out. This is when Planet Coaster was only a month old, a baby. It's Ride Spotlight number 4, created by Xaphor. This is the OG original stuff right here. This is crazy to me. I have not been on this ride in almost 7 years. This is insane. Off we freaking go with Reshade this time. Yeah, this is one of Xaphor's very first creations in Planet Coaster. Vanilla Planet Coaster. We didn't have much to work with back then. We didn't have a lot of pieces. The game was in dire need of patches. There were still bugs and hiccups with the game back then. A lot of the tools and features that we have now didn't exist. And this is one of the more simple Xaphor creations, yet still holds up all these years later. It's amazing. And one of the very first ever ride spotlights. I remember I was a little bit intimidated by Xaphor back then, and I was afraid to make a mistake on his spotlights because the guy was so good at creating stuff. I thought he would judge me if I made a mistake. And it turned out that he would end up becoming, you know, my best friend in this community. very, very strange looking back at it now. Don't judge a book by its cover. But, yeah, kind of amazing. Look at this park. This is phenomenal. But yeah, this is the first spotlight I ever did of Xaphor, which would end up becoming 30 plus more over the course of 6 years or so. Pretty amazing. What does that work out? That means he's featured, if you average it out, he was featured almost 4 or 5 times a year. So basically every season, almost, over the course of 6, 7 years. It's kind of crazy. I do know there are some other people, like Galcian and Riddler Revenge and Pixel West, Nimzel, MKP. There are some people that have many, many features. I don't think anyone comes close to having 30 something like Xaphor, but that is because Xaphor did exceptional coaster and ride spotlights, blueprints. He was able to make more of them. These other creators were doing things like parks and stuff, right? I don't know how we're supposed to get over here. There's no bridge, but we'll just come check it out. Oh, this is the temple that we saw back earlier. Oh, wow. This is like a mashup. What is this? Striker. So I'm assuming Striker went to the workshop and took a lot of Xaphor's blueprints and made like a centerpiece out of all of them. So everything that we've seen so far in the park, these are pieces of all of them mashed together. That is very, very cool. This is like all the spotlights in one amalgamation. That's why it's over here. You can't actually ride it. Beautiful centerpiece by Striker there. Really well done. And there's Xaphor playing with his Kirby and his coasters. That's so special. Wow. You guys. I lost my train of thought again. And here's another one. I don't know if Striker made this one too. Kiara. He's riding a coaster over a cloud. Oh, his Discord icon. That makes me so sad. Oh. I don't think, this is kind of crazy to say, but like the amount that me and Xaphor talked on Discord, how much that icon that I just showed there popped up in my inbox over the last 7 years. You know, I lost my mom, and she was the person I talked to most in this world. And then, you know, like, I think I talked to Xaphor more than my own sister, all my other family members combined. It's kind of crazy to think that. I mean, Xaphor was basically family to me. Of all the people I've spoken to in the last 7 years, I think Xaphor and I have the most hours and DMs and back and forth conversations, both over voice and text, out of anyone in my life. Which is really why I get so broken up about all of this, because I don't have that anymore. And I felt myself sort of imploding over the last couple weeks thinking about that. There's something missing in my life now, and it just can't be replaced. And it just truly reminds me of how much Xaphor really was family to me. Even what I talked about earlier of us just spending like 2,000 hours playing Lost Ark together last year was kind of crazy. You can't really top that. I don't think I've played that many hours of video games with anybody, ever, which is really crazy. So, I mean, he's special, and he even convinced me last year to like, or just, I think it was this year, I don't know, to reel it back and just do 3 videos a week and, you know, stop burning myself out. But I had the same problem when I lose somebody, like when I lost my mom. I just go into full work mode because I'm not very good with dealing with my emotions, and I need to find a happy place, and my happy place is creating content for you guys. And so while Xaphor wouldn't approve of me doing 7 videos a week like I have been this week, here's the Tempest Vintage coaster, 1.4 kilometers in length. While he probably wouldn't approve of me doing this much work and working this hard and burning myself out, it's what I need to do as a coping mechanism. All of the videos on the channel, we can thank Xaphor for pushing me to do them. And he can't yell at me. Love you, buddy. All right, here we go. I'm gonna look up the facts on this coaster while we ride this. Wow, freaking wait. So this one here, I knew it felt like recently familiar. And I was looking through the list. I didn't know it was this recent. This was featured February 28th, 2023 of this year for Coaster Spotlight 1018. This, in fact, is Xaphor's last Coaster Spotlight. One that I forgot to add to the list was the one from Project PlanCo. So that would be another one that I need to add in. And I believe the one from Project PlanCo would have, in fact, been the last Coaster Spotlight. Now, was it a Coaster Spotlight? No, because it was part of Project PlanCo. It wasn't part of the Coaster Spotlight series. So this here is Xaphor's last Coaster Spotlight, and it was this earlier this year. But we do feature him again in Project PlanCo. So I gotta find High Noon and add it to the list. Okay, I have added it to the playlist. So the High Noon that he made for us was part of Project PlanCo, and it was featured May 14th, 2023. But that is something that wouldn't have made it in this park because it's part of Project PlanCo, as mentioned earlier. Now, is there something back here that I missed? Let's go see this. This is for an icon, a legend, and legends are never forgotten. ILV coasters. Xaphor, fly high. Rest in peace. My thoughts with the family and friends. And it's a giant observatory. The problem with these observatories is you can never get a good view. But look at this park. Wow. Truly a beautiful park spotlight. Crazy to think that, like, Xaphor's made so many things that you can make an entire park out of it. Something that he never got to do. And it's actually kind of touching that here we are going around to Xaphor Park, something that Xaphor would have never imagined. It's really quite special. So thank you again to all the community members involved in making this possible here today. Truly a special, a memorable moment. And just so happened that I was able to stall and work it out to a point where this would be Coaster Spot or Park Spotlight 600. Nobody deserves it more. There's no other more memorable creator in this community other than Xaphor. And to go down in Park Spotlight 600, we only get to the 100 milestones. I mean, I feel like once every couple years, right? If I do 1 or 2 a week, and there's 52 weeks in a year, that's between 50 to 100 a year. Sometimes I amp it to 3. So yeah, it's a 1 a year kind of milestone. I mean, 600 spotlights, the game's been out on 6 years coming this November. So yeah, I do just under 100 or 70 or so a year. So yeah, this is like a huge milestone for us in this community. Absolutely massive. I definitely know I missed this coaster. I'll be hitting up the ride list to double check. I walked through here, but I passed. What is this? What are these people in queue for? Let's go on in. I don't remember the name of this creation off the top of my head, or which one it was. But looks like we have another river rapids. And I'm seeing a bit of a... Oh, this is the shooting ride. And I said this was like one of the best shooting rides of all time. I remember this now. I just need a little bit of a reminder. Start shooting ride. We win. Continue playing. Yeah, this is like, I'd say, yeah. Opening up the spotlight. This was 3 years ago, March 12th, 2020, and I named it the best shooting ride. Ride Spotlight 111. Very cool. Park's a little bit laggy. I might miss some of these. You can just spam these. I'm gonna get the best score ever. But you know, Xaphor, nothing can be ordinary. Therefore, every button we push is going to do something amazing, and that's why I was, made the claims that it was the best shooting ride of all time at the time. And I think it probably inspired a lot of the people making shooting rides, which eventually we got City of Omoshu and some pretty amazing shooting rides spawned after this. But at the time of this being out, we never really seen a whole lot of like interactions between the buttons you press and what happens in the show. This is really kind of insane to see this again. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. What's my score? I'm ultra focused right now. Damn it, Xaphor, I can't hit any of these. You're spinning the camera too much. Gosh, this is a difficult shooting ride. I wonder how much I complained on the first one. I can barely see them. They're so like shooting the eyes, and the camera's spinning so much. I take it all back. This is the worst shooting ride ever. Damn it, Xaphor! It's too hard. That's what she said. Ba-dum-tsh. Oh boy. Now this is actually like one of the most challenging shooting rides is what I should have called it. Having to hit these targets while the camera's spinning like the way it is? Like, come on! I can't do this. There's way too many triggers. This is insanely difficult. Oh my, I'm about to give up. I'm gonna have to use cheat engine for this, slow it down, and get the ultimate high score. I think I had to do that one time. Who was that I made me rage quit? And I think it was like AKA Superman or something. I don't really remember off the top of my head, but I had to use cheat engine to slow the game down because I was raging so hard. But this is definitely one of those. I'd say this is the hardest shooting ride of all time. I can't do it. This is too hard. Well done, Xaphor. Making me rage on another shooting ride. Probably one of the people that triggered me into hating shooting rides. Oh, that's hilarious. Well done, though. That is a good shooting ride, absolutely. And it also looks like there's a river rapids. I don't know if that's actually like something you can ride, but oh no, the ride went through the river rapids. One thing I've noticed from this park and just like reviewing Xaphor as a whole, he was a big fan of the river rapids, right? What's this coaster here? I don't think we went on this, but it's it's the Immortal, and I feel like that was one of the more recent ones. No, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe? Legendary? Or is this I'm so confused. Okay, so this one was one of the ones that didn't make the playlist, and that's why I was confused. It's another one. So now we're at a total of 34, and this would be 35 for Xaphor Spotlights. So we just keep finding more hidden coasters that didn't make the playlist. So Xaphor actually had forgotten to add certain spotlights to his own playlist, and some of them got away from him even. So now I'm noticing some that got away from me, this being one of them. I remember this queue being, right, you go underneath the M. So this one was actually featured December 2022. So about a year ago. 9 months or something. But yeah, it's one of his more recent spotlights. But I am noticing a lot of coasters from the playlist that didn't make it into this park. RyRy sent me a message when he was originally building the park and said, like, I'm getting like 4 FPS. Xaphor has too many creations. And then I think Bear like restarted and like tried to do it, like try to like compact it a little bit more, and then as well as batch. So while we don't have every single Xaphor creation in this park, we have a lot of them and probably some of the best of them, but there are still a bunch more that I wish I could re-ride and revisit that were my personal favorites that didn't quite make it into this park. We got almost 2 kilometers in length on this. It is an RMC. Let's check it out. Good googly moogly. Xaphor. Truly, this coaster goes to show, and all of them in this park, what a legendary creator, coaster creator, and just amazing artist Xaphor truly was at Planet Coaster. I'm going to quickly hit up the ride list to make sure we didn't miss anything, and then I have some stuff to talk about. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have checked the ride list. We have, in fact, hit all of the rides. Now, of course, getting every single Xaphor creation into one park would probably just kill my computer and just wouldn't be feasible. I was getting an average between 20 to 30 FPS on this park throughout this experience. It's a pretty hefty park as is. So getting the rest in would have definitely been not really feasible and definitely a computer melter. It's amazing park. You guys, Beartastic, RyRy, Batch, all the community members that put in their blueprints. If you got a blueprint into the community park and I didn't quite get a good close look at it, or I passed by it, or I missed it or something, my apologies for that. I just want to express that this was an overwhelming experience, something hard for me to do. As amazing as it is to do this park spotlight, is also very difficult at the same time. It is a double-edged sword that there's a lot of emotions and a lot of thoughts that are going through my mind, and therefore I may have missed something here or there, but this is definitely a community creation. It is on the workshop. Links will be down in the description below. Please do give it a thumbs up. Let's get this to the front page so everyone can remember Xaphor and he can get to the front page of Steam one last time. I think that would be beautiful. So please do just go click the link and go give it a rating, and we can get this Xaphor's last 4-star creation and his very first ever park spotlight / park. So yeah, it's been a bit overwhelming. There are a lot of creations that he made, like the Fabulous Brothers Fantastic Flying Machines, the Wind Waker, the Little Mermaid, 30 Leagues Under the Sea. 3,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I earlier mistaked this for 3,000 Leagues Under the Sea, but I do remember he had another sci-fi creation, and that one was another one. The Thunderbird was one of my favorite coasters from him. There's also another big coaster that, is it not in the playlist? The Eternal Dawn. I mentioned that earlier. I was mistaken that for something else. Yeah, episode 597, Eternal Dawn, was one of my favorite coaster spotlight blueprints. So I don't know what to... I feel part of me, I got a lot off my chest. I cried a little bit. I'm not very good at showing my emotions publicly or even to my own family and friends. So I felt at the end of this somewhat relieved, I guess. I don't know if that's the word for it, but like I feel like there's a little bit like a heaviness lifted off me. I can feel a little bit lighter because I got to write my thing for his obituary. That was like the first step of grieving, and I phoned up my cousin and immediately after finding out the news and let some emotions out there. And obviously talked to people on Discord and shared in some of our memories and read what people had to say about, what Xaphor meant to them. So there's been, and then last week I featured his last coaster, High Noon, and had a bit of a moment there as well. And now this. So for me, it's been a bit of an emotional roller coaster dealing with this, but at the same time, I don't usually even get in queue for those emotions, if that makes sense. Like, even when my mom passed away, I cried, and then I got up, and then I was like, I need to not think about this, and I started making 7 videos a day Planet Coaster marathon, and I just work, because it was the only way I knew how to cope, the only way I knew how to kind of swallow my emotions. But back then, I didn't know that wasn't very healthy, because I felt like I never really properly grieved that loss. Whereas this time around with Xaphor, I have done many things to grieve with the loss, and I, for whatever reason, feel like it's helped a little bit, but it'll never go away. It'll never go away. Like I mentioned, I've spent thousands of hours. If anything, Xaphor is probably one of the people I've spent most of, I've talked to more than anyone in my life. The amount of time that we spent together, the amount that we talked about, and I could tell Xaphor stories and talk about him all day, but a lot of it is personal. A lot of it's between the two of us, and a lot of that stuff is just forever something that I get to keep. But at the same time, that's something that saddens me, because it's like these things that we get to talk about, the things that we talked about, I can't reminisce with him about that. I feel like that's been taken from me, and that's where I get upset and mad and sad, and I don't want to deal with my emotions. There's a lot that just goes on with the loss of a human being, and it's been a very difficult process. So I felt today's Park Spotlight helped me heal, helped me, and hopefully it did the same for you. And at the same time, it felt like it was a beautiful way to commemorate and remember and memorialize our dear friend Xaphor. So it is hitting on a lot of little points. It's hitting on a lot of different emotions. It's definitely not your typical Park Spotlight that if you tuned in just to join in and see a bunch of coasters and me good googly moogly, probably saw a different side of me here today. And that alone is opening myself up to vulnerability and being something that I'm not entirely used to doing. So the entire process has been challenging, but at the same time, very healing. That being said, looking through the playlist of spotlights I have featured of him in the past, and I was even just looking at King Ghoster's Fun Fair, episode 541. He did a blueprint, King Ghoster's Fun Fair, and I'm wondering, I'll run this one by Batch, and Batch is obviously going to be watching this video. Project PlanCo, we have a King Ghoster's area, but Chant is working on it. It's called the Dark Carnival. We'll see, but maybe that's a blueprint that we can squeeze in there. King Ghoster's Fun Fair created by Xaphor in the King Ghoster area to kind of remember Xaphor by, and also add to the fun rides that are in that area of the park. I believe it was a wooden coaster. Yeah, it might have been RMC. So that might be something fun to add in there. Also, there are some extra coasters from Xaphor that we didn't get to see here because the park was getting a little bit too heavy that I would like to re-ride, but at the same time, covering Xaphor content just makes me a little bit sad, makes me miss him, and that sort of thing. So part of me wants to kind of this be the one true memory of Xaphor, and we have the playlist if we want to revisit those moments. So I was contemplating some of those other rides, doing a coaster bundle with, or putting them into the best coasters of all time POV series that I've started on the channel. But then part of me just feels like I've put my heart out there. I put everything I wanted to say there. Let the healing begin. Because I think going through the process of doing more Xaphor content, I don't know how I feel about that. So I think in terms of those other best coasters of all time, Eternal Dawn and all of that, they are in the playlist which I created. If I want to come back to this and revisit some Xaphor coasters in the future, that will be something I do once I feel like I've completed the healing process and grievance of all of this. But no doubt about it, I love riding Xaphor coasters, and we didn't get to ride all of them here today. So there is still more to be explored, but we also have featured all of his coasters on the channel, so we can always go revisit them there, and that's what maybe I will do in the meantime. But we did find some extras, so I added them to the playlist. We have now, including this park, 35 Xaphor spotlights on this channel. If you could do me a favor, and if you know of any Xaphor videos that I made, videos including Xaphor, maybe as a guest or whatever, feel free to send me a message on Discord with the link to the video, and we'll add it to that playlist. We'll just continue to grow the Xaphor videos on the Xaphor Spotlights playlist, and that way we can get the complete full list, and I think that would be appropriate, because I think even if like the award ceremonies or anything that he was a guest in could be also kind of fun, but I'm not sure. But definitely any spotlights that didn't make it into the playlist need to be added there. And I thought I hit them all, but we found a handful more. So I just want to make sure that we get them all. So if you know of any I missed, please do message me, let me know about it, and we'll make sure to get that added in there. But yeah, I don't... Like I said, I could talk about Xaphor all day. There's so many things I love and about him, and I wanted to say about him. I think I said a lot, and you know, I'm just a little bit overwhelmed by all of this. But if you guys have anything to add, if you feel like I missed anything, feel free to leave it down in the comments, because this video can represent his final memorial spotlight. So if you have any parting words or final things that you want to say about Xaphor, how he meant to you, you can put it down in the comments below. But there's also a community tab on the community section where I wrote the obituary for Xaphor. There's also his obituary, and then also just, you know, Discord. If you wanna you know, let your thoughts out there, come join us on Discord as well. So yeah, we can all share in the memories, and I can read your comments and posts about Xaphor, and we can continue continue to celebrate his celebration of life here after the park spotlight ends, because he is forever in our hearts always, and should never be forgotten. So I definitely welcome and embrace all Xaphor stories, memories, everywhere in all of the sources that I've mentioned. Just keep it coming. Keep it coming. What a beautiful day. What a beautiful moment. I'm mentally overwhelmed, and I don't know how to awkwardly end this video. All I gotta say is that I love Xaphor from the bottom of my heart. This was a person that impacted my life, which therefore impacted the lives of many others. Xaphor helped me with my YouTube, my contests, my community, with everything Planet Coaster. He helped me learn. He helped me grow. He helped me self-critique myself and grow from my flaws. He helped me become a better human being, and as a result, he changed my life, and I was able to change the lives of many others through the content that I created that he had a little bit of assistance in terms of direction and growth. So I just want to thank Xaphor for being an amazing person and impacting my life so heavily. And I think, you know, things without him in my life, things may have been a lot different. So he is one of the most inspirational, life-changing people to ever come across me in my life. And I will forever be grateful for that, and also saddened by the fact that I won't have that anymore. But I have you guys and this wonderful community. I started this community, Xaphor joined this community, and he just he continued to add to what I had started. And like I said in the obituary, he told me just weeks before passing that I said I don't know what I would do without him, and he said you'll do just fine without me. It was a little bit strange that he said that. I was looking back at it, I don't know if he knew or whatever, or if it's just a coincidence, but he did say I was going to do just fine without him, and that he was just happy to have contributed as much as he did to this community because I gave him that platform to do so. And he thanked me for giving him the opportunity to be a part of some awesome community that I had started, but really he transformed it into something even better. So we are where we are today as a team, and I appreciate him from the very beginning to forever on. So thank you, Xaphor, and may you rest in peace. We all love you, and you made an impact on thousands of people. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude Xaphor's Memorial Park. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. Bye now.